So, greetings of the day, respected faculty members of MITS. This is Vamsi Krishna from MITS Engineering College. I am going to present the topic on Introduction to Internet of Things. So, what is the Internet of Things? Any system which is connected to the communication system that can able to send the data from one system to other system using internet. So the internet has a different communication systems at which we are going to send the status of the devices or equipment from one system to other system. So this will help in reducing the manpower, and the task will be reduced to minimum level, and the time consumption of task is reduced, and the errors of performing the task will be reduces. So when we are going to talk about the IoT, just we will go through the introduction of IoT. So we will be going through IoT system, classification of IoT system, components of IoT, working of IoT system, types of IoT, IoT application and examples. So before, you need to know the terms. So what is the IoT system and what is the embedded system? And before knowing these two systems, you are aware of that one, the automation. So nowadays all the tasks are done by the machine, so without the help of the labor. So such a machines can able to perform the task efficiently when compared to human. So such systems, when you are going to connect over the net and sending the data to from one system to other system, the systems are interconnected with the net. So such system we can define as IoT system. The systems which don't have the communication system or link, where the machine can perform itself without sending its credentials or data to the other system, those systems obviously we can call it as a embedded system. So in our daily life, we can came across the washing machine, an automatic cooker, where we don't found any the Wi-Fi technology to know the status. That is, when I am talking before 5 years back itself, the manufacturers already developed the washing machine without the communication links or without Wi-Fi technology. But the person who are far away from this system could not able to know the status of the condition of the equipment or condition of the systems. So for example, if you take the washing machine before 5 years back, so it does the work equal to the human, just like washing the clothes, dryer, and it is going to set some time for washing and rewashing. So these all the things will be done by the washing machine. You are going to give some specific options like show, load, and fuzzy. So these are various options. You might have been aware of that one. So we can define the IoT system is a collective network connected with the device and technology that facilitate communication between devices and as well as cloud, as well as between the devices themselves. So when you are going to send the information to other devices, then we can say simply we can say that is the IoT device, or we can say IoT system. So if you see the classification of IoT system, you can see that the constrained devices, where it is having the components or parts like communication system, protocols, and hardware abstraction layer, and OS and RTOS. And second one, gateways and smart devices. You can know the data management and messaging system, connectivity, field protocols and IoT protocols, network management, application routine, and OS, RTOS. And if you take the IT cloud platform, application enrollment, event management, analytics, data management, device management, device registry, and OS pass. So when you are going to this system, when you want to send the data, this system has to function perfectly. Without proper protocols, it is very tough to send the data from one system to other system. So in the industry, when you are going to go through the industry, we are going to use the field bus protocols like IEEE and RS-232 and Profibus, where the industrial data, that might be whatever the data, it has to be sent to the other system such that based upon the data, the system can perform the task. Now you already know that the industry is automated with IoT system. Why? Because whatever the operations are going to be performed in the industry, that might be welding, that might be cutting, that might be packing, or any food processing industry, whatever the operation that is going to be affect other system, and the parameters and the affected system, whenever the parameters are going to be changed, the parameters might be in the term of temperature, pressure, velocity, flow, and these are the parameters already you might known in the physics. Why? Because whenever if you go through the industry, you are aware of these parameters. Whenever the process is going to be operated, so the product which is having these parameters. For example, if you take a chemical reaction, in the chemical reaction, the temperature will be generated or the heat is generated. A components will be generated, a gas can be generated, a gas will be having certain pressure. So this all the parameters should be known by the engineer who are going to be operated such a plant. So if any parameters has been deviated, it may lead to a dangerous condition. So for those purpose, we are going to have a basic components that can automatically regulate the process such that you are going to get the process in the desired manner without having any errors. It should be basically error free. Whenever you are going to operate a machine, that might be embedded or IoT, so it should be error free. For the error free operation, you should have the components of IoT. First, you should be aware of what are the components that are used in the IoT. So you are going to have the sensors, gateways, and processing unit and application unit. So we can go through one example. When a person is going to ride, by using the eyes, he can able to check the status on the road, whether the vehicles are coming towards him, so that he can take appropriate action by controlling the brakes. So here, how he is going to control by using the brain with respect to the sensory organs eye, he can able to take a decision on how he can able to control the bike. In the same way, when you are going to design automated system that has the features of communication system, we can say it is a IoT system. In order to develop such a system automated with having the communication system features, we can say it is IoT. For such system, you require these components. Without these components, it is tough to develop any IoT system. So what are the purpose of sensors? First, we can go through a sensing layer. A sensing layer is one which can able to get the external data that is in the form of a non-electrical form. So the external data will be in the non-electrical form always. For example, you can see temperature, you can feel, you cannot see the temperature. In the same way, velocity, you can see the rotation of the wheel. If you see the temperature, you can feel the sense, but you cannot know in terms of electrical magnitude. In the same way, the flow, you can know the velocity by touching the water flow, but you cannot identify in terms of analog signal. So whenever such a system has to know the non-electrical form, the system has to understand through the electrical form only. So what the sensors will does, it converts the non-electrical information, that is the environmental information, into the computer understanding form, or we can say computer understandable form, that is called as a electrical form. So these sensors, in one line we can say that these sensors are the devices that converts non-electrical signals to electrical form. So here we are going to use different sensors in the industry, that depending upon the applications. Not only in the industry, if you go through the any one of the applications, so you can have different sensors. So you can have a lot of sensors like temperature sensor, flow sensor, pressure sensor. Depending upon the application, you can use the sensors. For example, we can say room regulator, or we can say air conditioner. For example, you can say air conditioner. So what is the function of the air conditioner? Its main aim to regulate the room temperature. So whenever it want to regulate the room temperature, first it has to know the condition of the room, what is the temperature of the room. Unless it knows the temperature of the room, it cannot take a necessary action. So it has to cool the temperature. For that, it has to know the temperature of the room. Without knowing the temperature of the room, the system cannot control the temperature of the room. For that, it requires the temperature sensors. So the temperature sensors are connected to the embedded system, or we can say IoT system. The data of the sensors is given to the computer. So internally, a central processing IC will be available. So which we will call as a, of course, Intel processor, a Samsung processor. There are different types of processors, and six type of processors and RISC type of processors, that depending upon the system. Even many IoT system or embedded system, nowadays they are using the RISC type of processors. So RISC type of processors are the processor which the hardware complexity of the circuit is simple, but it is going to handle a millions of instructions to execute some task. So normally these processors are developed by the companies like Intel, Samsung and ARM or AMD. So what is the purpose of the processor? That means when you are going to take data processing layer, CPU stand for central processing unit. So just like how our PCs having the central processing unit in the motherboard, every embedded system is having the central processing unit with various versions. Some companies use the ARM, some companies use the Samsung, some companies can use the Intel, whatever might be. So what is the part of the processor? So it does the wonderful thing that it can able to take the data from the sensing layer in the form of the electrical signal, and this electrical signal will be converted to digital by the device which are connected to the CPU. So you will be having A to D and D to A converters that are interfaced with the central processing unit. These devices will convert the analog data or electrical data that is taken from the sensors into the binary language, that is called as a zeros and ones. Basically, the computer understand only the binary language, that is zeros and ones. So after collecting the data from the sensors, the CPU will collect the data from the A to D devices, or we can say A to D converters. These A to D converters will convert the sensor data in the analog form into the digital data. This digital data will be given to the CPU for the processing. Then CPU, it's as like a brain of the computer, or we can say the brain of the system, that is supposed to control the task, or that is supposed to decide what it want to perform. So it will give to the data to the application layer, such that the application layer can able to send the data through mobile phone, through wireless devices, or suppose if this data want to control other device, this data can be sent to the other device as a control command. The CPU will take the data and gives the control command. Sometimes it will gives to the display devices also for the information. So that's why the central processing unit is a commander of the hardware, or we can say commander of the equipment, where it can able to process many millions of instructions. If you take internal parts of the CPU will be having many parts like memory, registers, arithmetic logic unit, IO processing interfacing circuit, and bus management interfacing units, and many more. So here arithmetic logic unit plays a crucial role, that it will does all the arithmetic and calculations. So after executing, these results will be stored in the memory, and as per the requirement, the memory will utilize the previous results to execute the next instructions, and it will decide to give the data to the application layer in the form of a command, or in the form of a display device. So it can send to the mobile phone, such that you can check the data in displays. So the CPU can send the data for displaying purpose or for commanding purpose. So here I already discussed that IoT works through real-time collection and exchange of data, and you can know some of the smart IoT devices like television, which is having Wi-Fi connection, security camera. Of course, all the devices now we are going to use having the Wi-Fi connection or data communication system, that we can call as a IoT device. So what is this device is going to do? So already as I discussed, it's going to collect the data from enrollment, user inputs, and usage patterns, and communicate data over the internet to and from its IoT applications. So nowadays you already know that machine learning and artificial intelligence plays a crucial role to analyze any data and make informed decision. So of course at present you can also use machine learning and artificial intelligence. This machine learning and artificial intelligence are in the demand from last 3 years, but before also we had this technology, but it's not oftenly used, it's rarely used. So those days, before 3 years back, we are going to concentrate on the Java and .NET. These are the programming languages. Even other languages also we are going to concentrate. For the web-based application, you are going to go through .NET and Java. Whenever you go through the embedded application, we are particularly concentrating on the embedded C. Of course, VB.NET also can be interfaced with the embedded application to further simplify the task. So now from the last 2 years, we are going to have the machine learning and artificial intelligence technology. These two technology can be used to improve the role of any IoT application. So the performance of the equipment will be high, execution time of the processing speed is decreased, and speed of response is high. and errors generated by using these technologies are very, very less when compared to previous versions. So here, even if you, when you are going to use machine learning and artificial intelligence, these two technologies, whenever it is combined with the IoT hardware, or we can say embedded hardware, this can make decision and they can communicate it back to IoT devices. And IoT device then responds intelligently to the given inputs. And you can also manage IoT device by connecting with the graphical devices to check the information of the machine. For example, if your washing machine is connected through mobile device, somewhere you are available, you can check the status of the washing machine. So let's consider in an industry, a center computer room can be connected to all the devices, or we can say all the systems or all the compartments. So, but that is superior systems when compared to IoT, that more superior systems than IoT. Why? Because those are the sophisticated equipments having the processing speed is very, very high. Even though their processing speed are high, there in industry also we are going to use some of the IoT systems where the engineer can able to get the status of the various parameters like temperature, pressure, velocity in his mobile phone, such that he can take a necessary action even from his mobile phone also. So by using handheld device also, with usage of IoT techniques or IoT technology, he can able to reduce the work pressure on the labor, and he can able to control all the devices in less time. So this IoT can be used in commercial IoT and commercial IoT, consumer IoT and commercial IoT. So consumer IoT means it is used for everyday purpose like home appliances, what I had told, and voice assistant and light fixtures. And in commercial IoT, it's primarily used in healthcare and transport industries, just like smart pacemakers and monitoring system. So how IoT is used in the smart pacemaker? So if you take a older persons, if you are going to take a older persons, so we can say smart packers. So when you are going to take a older persons, the rhythmic action of the heart is irregular. The rhythmic action of the heart is irregular. In such a case, the doctors will suggest to take smart pacemakers, which is having the Wi-Fi technology. Whenever, if he is going to have the unrhythmic condition, this smart pacemaker will give artificial impulses to the aorta, or we can say sino-arterial node. That is the node that is available in the center part of the heart, which is going to give the pulses that will be supposed to pass or circulated throughout the blood vessels to the heart. So whenever the impulses are given to sino-arterial node, or we will call it as SA node. Whenever these impulses are given to the SA node, this SA node starts generating the pulses, and these pulses will be circulated towards the surface of the heart. So it will try to minimize or reduce the unrhythmic action of the heart pulses. So that is the benefit of the smart makers. And this condition can also be known to the daughter through SMS. So likewise, you will be having the smart pacemaker, which can able to justify the condition of the patient, such that the ambulance can be located to that location and can be taken necessary action in less time. So this is regarding about the pacemaker. So like this, the IoT can be benefited to numerous applications and can be benefited to people in many ways. Just like what I had discussed, the smart pacemaker. So it can able to judge the condition of the elderly person and take a necessary action by sending the ambulance in a correct time. And also the IoT system can also be used in the military system for surveillance of robots, human wearable biometrics for combat, and it can also used in industrial internet of things, and it can also used in energy sectors to check whether the solar panel is going to receive the energy in correct way or not, whether the data is going to be converted into electrical form or not. In the same way, it can also be connected to the smart agriculture, whether the spraying system is functioning properly, whether the humidity sensor interface is working properly or not. So based upon the humidity taken into consideration or the moisture of the soil, so the system can able to spray the a particular amount of water to the plants when you are going to operate the monitoring or treating by using the smart agricultural technology. So just you can go through the IoT application. We are having IoT in smart homes, smart wearables, smart cities, smart grid, industrial IoT, connected cars, connected health, smart retail stores, smart supply chain, smart farming. Just you can see the thing that you are going to acquire some data from the patient in the form of various signals. So that might be ECG signal, EMG signal, and EEG signal. So our body generates various types of signals. Those are ECG, electrocardiogram signal, which is generated from the heart, EMG, myogram signal, that is generated from the muscle, and EEG, the signals generated from the brain. So such IoT system, when you interfaced to the body, it can able to monitor the status of the condition of the various organ by checking the properties of the various signals like ECG, EMG, and EEG. So by using this data, the doctors can take a necessary action and they will counsel the patients for further treatment. And of course, even this data can also be transmitted to the other devices where the doctor can able to take a necessary action. Just you can see the diagram, the sensing the electrodes, we can that is we can call it as a sensor, or we can say electrodes that are interfaced to the patient. So the electrodes will sense the information and gives in the form of a electrical voltage. This voltage will be transmitted through the transmitter and through the mobile phone, and through mobile phone it is transferred to the cloud, and cloud it is transferred to the internet, and it will give the report to the doctor. So the doctor can able to estimate the condition of patients even when he was in the remote condition. So if you see the device, that how every system is connected through the mobile phones. Just you can say even the computer can be connected to the Wi-Fi, the computer can be connected to the mobile phone, and the mobile phone can be connected to the embedded hardware. This system we can simply called as a IoT system. So just you can see this the car parking system. The owner can know the status of how many cars is has been parked, whether the system is functioning well or not through mobile phone. And even in the agriculture IoT based farming, just you can see these things. There are some devices are there. A relay is connected such that this relay can operate the AC pump in order to control the flow of sprinkling system. So depending upon the moisture level of the soil, the system IoT system can able to control the relay function. Based upon the controlling of relay function, we can wet the soil. We can wet the soil depending upon the situation. And we are also having the temperature to measure the temperature of the soil. And here in the mobile phones, you can use the MySQL for the database system, and you can also send the data through SMS. So this is agricultural based IoT based system. So in the same way, we can also use the IoT in various fields, like you can automatically control the air in home. So room heaters, safeguards, video intercom, central AC to control the AC, air condition of the room, lights and curtain automatically can be offed from remote location, and smart application, even Wi-Fi is available in the AC and smart media. And even you can have the smart devices like smart watches, smart shoe. So these are the things that at present the people can be carrying. Why? Because you already know that at present situation, kidnappings are more, kidnappings are more. So in order to protect these things, they have implemented the smart devices for children in the form of a smart fingers, a smart bracelet, and smart rings, smart watch, and smart earphones. So these are the things, and even smart shoe also. So even if the kidnappers are tries to remove all the components, one component might not be visible. So in such a case, you can know the status of the person or location of the person. By this, you can able to minimize the kidnapping cases. So this is the how the IoT can be used in many applications and gives benefit for the people. So just you can see how IoT can be used in the smart grid system, and how IoT can be used in the power transmission system. The status of the power generation and the status of the power can be checked in the Wi-Fi devices using mobile phone. And here you can also see how IoT used in various sectors. And summary, we already discussed the some example systems and classification and examples of IoT and application of IoT. So thank you one and all for giving this opportunity.